changing to the northeast. Mostly cloudy, 30 overnight tonight. Monday, a 20% chance of rain afternoon. High of 47. Breezy with southeast winds becoming southwest and gusting to over 30 in the afternoon. Tuesday, sunny with a high of 46. There's your Weather Watch. I'm Roger Olson.
Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock, and I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. I want to welcome you into the program. If this is the first time you're joining us today, we got a fun show in store for you. If you're an old hat who's been here before, you know the drill, you know how it works. We're looking for your calls because the callers do make the show. 888-250-2091. 888-250-2091. That's the number to join us on the program. Keep in mind, the show is recorded live Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. So if it's not Sunday morning at 7 when you hear the program and you call that number, you're not going to get through. So Sunday mornings, 7 to 8 a.m., 888-250-2091. Now, if you missed the show last week, the bad news is it was a great show and you really missed out. The good news is that it's available on the Schrock Innovations website. If you go to SchrockInnovations.com, click on the radio show tab, you can not only listen to the show, it's of course available on all the podcasting services, but you can listen to the show or you can actually watch the show. As you know, we do stream live as we're streaming right now at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. You can watch the show there and, join the community of people in what has become known as Schrockville, to comment and discuss what's going on and actually help each other out live on the air. It's kind of cool. So you can check that out there. But if you did miss out on the program last week, we did talk about Best Buy closing their location in Papillion. If you haven't heard about that, the Best Buy will be closing in Papillion on March 4th is the official date. Employees inside the store tell me that basically it's March 4th or whenever we sell everything because they're not getting new stuff. And so they're looking a little picked over. All the normal inventory is not on special because they're just going to move it to one of the other two Best Buys in the Omaha metro area. But all the floor models were clearanced out. So as of last week, there was some pretty good deals there on TVs and washers and dryers and fridges and things like that if you were looking for those kind of appliances. So we shared that with you last week. You got a good heads up there. We told you about the Department of Justice shutting down a ransomware network. That did happen. Also shared why Meta and Google are so concerned about ChatGPT. If you haven't heard of ChatGPT yet, I don't know, you've probably read something that's been written by it and just didn't know it. But we have a little bit more on ChatGPT here this afternoon. The response is getting pretty intense over it. We also reminded you to patch your old Apple devices. Apple did release a patch for iPhone 5s and 6s and up that patched a known vulnerability that was being exploited. Apple typically doesn't patch these older devices, but in this case, they did make an exception and go ahead and patch those. So definitely, if you're still running one of these older devices, number one, they are not secure. And number two, it's time to upgrade. In fact, it's one of those things, we just got a new sunset notification for what kind of Apple Mac OSs can run Sophos. And of course, like all other security products, there's a life cycle that goes along with the operating systems. And so, we talked to you about the importance of keeping your Windows operating systems up to date. A lot of people think, well, I have Windows 10, so I'm good to go. Well, Windows 10 21H1, so this is half one of 2021. You won't be able to run Sophos on that anymore as of December of 22, the end of last year. So if your Windows 10 is not up to date, your Sophos will not work. So it's pretty important that you keep these operating systems up to date. On Mac, the oldest version that will run Sophos is Catalina. If you have Lion, Mountain Lion, anything before Catalina, your Sophos isn't going to be able to be renewed, unfortunately. So it's one of those things to make sure you keep up on keeping those operating systems up to date all the way around. Coming up on the program today, guys, we do try to save you money, and we do try to keep you safe and secure. Sometimes people don't have the money to stay as safe and secure as we would like. Sometimes people don't have the attention span to stay as safe and secure as we would like. So we're trying to solve both of those problems for you by taking our Secure Updater product. We're going to talk about that on the program today, what it is, how it works, why it's important. A lot of times it gets overlooked in the security picture. Everybody knows you need antivirus. What's this updater thing that you're supposed to have too? But we're going to put that on sale for 40% off. So in other words, when you purchase it, you can buy it new, a new license for it at the renewal price. So it's a 40% savings off of Secure Updater going on throughout the month of February. So we're going to tell you a little bit about that and how you can take advantage of it coming up on the program. Also, again, we're going to do some more Chat GPT roundup. It's like every week, it's almost like this is the new Elon segment. You know, we have a Chat GPT story every week. But there was some milestones that Chat GPT hit this last week. Also, Google's response to it. Google is getting... This is literally a slap in the face of Google. Somebody on the media that I was listening to was talking about what's the last thing that Google invented? Think about that for a second. What is the last thing that Google came up with that was not an improvement on something that somebody else already came up with? Well, Gmail is just email. Google Docs is just Microsoft Office. Well, they had Picasa, but they killed that. You know, Google Drive is just Dropbox. You know, what's the last thing that Google came up with that was unique and new and different? And the answer is they haven't. They've been sitting on their laurels enjoying their monopoly privileges for years. And now here comes ChatGPT out of nowhere and sends a zinger across the bow. Microsoft's already implementing ChatGPT into the Bing search engine. And all of a sudden now Google's really concerned. So we're going to tell you what Google's doing about it coming up on the program today. Also, how many ransomware gangs are there? Some disturbing new statistics out there that give us some actual metrics on how many different crime organizations are out there and how many infections they're working with that are trying to attack your computer. And also, if you have a business, if you have a small business specifically, IT challenges are intense. You don't need a full-time network administrator because you don't need to spend $70,000 a year on somebody to watch your 4 computers and make sure everything gets updated. On the other hand, consumer services just aren't enough. Like if you wait till something breaks and then you call for help, you have downtime and you have problems that could be prevented that you maybe don't even know that you have until it's too late. So we're going to tell you a little bit about how Schrock is helping small businesses overcome this issue with some niche services. You know, if you got 45 computers in your office and a domain server and you're remoting in and your VPN and everything else, you know what? That's not you. You need a network administrator. Like you need that $70,000 a year guy. You should have that. If you are running a chiropractic clinic and you have 4 computers and a server and you're worried about ransomware, there's literally nobody to help you. Nobody wants you as a client except Schrock Innovations. And we're going to tell you about that coming up on the program. So we got a lot to do today. 888-250-2091. 888-250-2091. You may have noticed conspicuously absent from the agenda today is anything about a Chinese spy balloon. You know, I'm so tired of seeing the balloon. I think we memed it to death. I mean, they put so many memes on the surface of the balloon that it just popped. I mean, it was like, boom, there we go. We will talk about it during the aftershock. There's a lot to take apart here. Without the outrage, without the, oh my gosh, this is awful. We'll sit down and literally take it apart fact for fact on the aftershock. If you don't know what the aftershock is a little show that we do after Compute This, because you see, Compute This is about your technology and making it work in your life. Most of us, the vast majority of us, don't have our own spy balloons. So it would be kind of silly to run a segment on spy balloons and keeping them aloft and keeping them from getting shot down by F-22 Raptors with, $1 million missiles. That it doesn't fit, right? So we do that. We do those things in the aftershock, the things that don't fit in the regular show for whatever reason that are interesting, that kind of sort of fit but aren't a good fit. They get saved for the aftershock. All right. So what is this thing called Secure Updater? Why do you need it on your computer? What does it actually do? Okay, so first off, I want to thank Trenton in the Omaha Service Center. Trenton is our new official Secure Updater administrator. This job is not a job to be taken lightly because he gets every single support call about Secure Updater that can't be easily resolved by a technician. If turn it off and on again doesn't work, they send it to Trenton, or if your password's expired or your account's expired or something, then, the techs take care of that. All the tech stuff goes to Trenton. Trenton is responsible for making sure that your programs get updated properly. He is the guy, the human being that is watching when these updates come out, and when they do come out is uploading them to your computer. Now, of course, he has assistance, he has help, it's not just him, but he has the primary responsibility. He also has the primary responsibility of deploying coverage for new products. And I'm really pleased to announce that the Secure Updater product is now covering a lot more. I think they added 6 new programs in the last week that we're covering now that we were not covering before. But what Secure Updater does, you see, when people try to infect your computer, we're going to talk about ransomware gangs later in the show, but when they try to get into your computer, there's stages to an infection. There's steps that have to happen. There's a procedure. And I thought about doing one of those explainer videos about this, like the little cartoon guys, like when a ransomware guy tries to get into your computer. What they're trying to do is first thing is they have to get an infection to your computer. They have to get into your system. That's where your antivirus comes into play. Your antivirus stops them from getting their foot in the door. Okay? Let's say, for example, you're running garbage antivirus. What is garbage antivirus? This is an opinion. Opinions are the sole opinion of Thor Schrock and do not represent the opinions of this station or any other station or any other person. And don't sue us, please. NortonLifeLock, McAfee, WebRoot, Malwarebytes, Secure IT. Let me see, what are some of the others? Avast or AVG, they're the same now. Did I cover all the major ones? I think I did. Garbage, all detection based. They're all old school detection based. It's grandpa's antivirus, basically, working great. The stuff that we sell is called Sophos. It is an AI driven. It's not ChatGPT. It won't write your term papers for you. But if it looks like a virus and it quacks like a virus, it's probably a virus, and we're going to stop it. Okay, Sophos will stop it. But let's just say you're not running Sophos. Let's say you're running something else, and something gets through. Now, next up, number 2, the virus doesn't just have, once it's in your computer, it doesn't have permission to just do everything it wants to do. Imagine a burglar gets into your house. Does that mean the burglar can just move through your house without you being aware that the burglar is there, or noticing that something is wrong, or freaking out and calling the police? The equivalent of calling Schrock to come fix it. No, the burglar can't do anything. The burglar has to stay hidden, right? The burglar has to find a super sneaky way to elevate his permissions. Basically, he waits till you're asleep or till you leave and does something sneaky. In computer lingo, what they're doing is they're exploiting a vulnerability in a third-party program, like your Adobe Reader, like Dropbox, like Zoom, like OBS Studio, like GIMP, like all these programs that you may or may not have on your computer. Some people have the Notebook++ for programming on their computer. Some people don't. Some people have OBS Studio. Some people have no idea what an OBS is. Is that like a dating term? I don't know what that is. No, it's what we stream this radio show on. So all these programs make up the universe of free software that we download on our computers and we run, and we don't even think about it because it's free. We don't have to pay for it. And because it's free, the companies that run it don't always follow the same regiments about forcing you to upgrade like Microsoft does, where you have to reboot once a month to install patches. You can go through and run OBS Studio forever without patching it. Same thing with Adobe Reader. Now, you might get a pop-up or something saying, well, there's an update, but you don't have to do it. Now, why do the companies release these updates? Why go through the trouble of releasing an update? Well, because there's a vulnerability or a bug fix or a problem that's been discovered. And sometimes those problems can be exploited by the bad guys that get into your computer. So step 1, bad guy gets into your computer. Step 2, bad guy says, aha, you're running an outdated version of Zoom that has access to your webcam and your microphone. Therefore, I can use a vulnerability in Zoom to elevate my privileges and take control of your webcam and microphone. Or worse yet, become an administrator and take control of whatever in the world I want to. That's why it's important to keep third-party programs up to date. It is the secondary line of defense in your computer's security that prevents you from getting a nasty infection. Not to mention the fact that they release a lot of bug fixes and things work a lot better when you have all the patches. So Secure Updater is a product that is made by Schrock Innovations, that is serviced by human beings employed in Schrock Innovations, in our local company, that is hosted on our server. No servers in China or any kind of craziness. It's all run by Schrock Innovations, so you know that it's trustworthy. You know that you can rely on it. Number two, what does it do? Whenever there's an outdated version of a program on your computer, you see Secure Updater checks every 8 hours to make sure that your software is up to date and current. And if it finds that there's an update that's been pushed out in the last 8 hours that you need on your computer, it silently and automatically downloads that update to your computer, installs it on your computer, and then you just go about your business. You don't even know it happened. You might see a little alert pop up down there, or the color of your icon might change in the system tray if you can see it down there. But that's it. That's all you're going to notice. What does Secure Updater cost? Now, typically, Secure Updater is $50 for the first year, and it's $30 a year to renew because it's a subscription service because I have to keep paying Trenton to keep updating things for you. So there's a cost. You got to make the cost back, right? Secure Updater never goes on sale. You know, it's never. There's not a coupon code. There's not a discount. Secure Updater is just Secure Updater. $50 for the first year, $30 each additional year. So what we have done in the service centers this month is we've done something we haven't done in over a year, and that is take that price of Secure Updater for new installations and discount it down to the renewal price. So now you'll just pay the renewal price to get that new installation. It's a 40% savings. So if you have a computer, now it is only compatible with PC, it doesn't work on Mac. So if you have it doesn't work on Chromebook, obviously. If you have a PC that does not have Secure Updater, or maybe you have one that has Secure Updater, but you have other computers in the house that don't have Secure Updater, now you can add to all the computers in your house, all the devices that your family has, at that renewal price. Now, how do you get the renewal price? We didn't lower the price at secureupdater.com because you see that's where the unwashed masses go to get their Secure Updater, and they pay full price. As a Compute This listener, you get a discount. So make sure that you give us a call in the service center. We can set it up for you. We can install it on your computer. We don't charge anything to do it. You don't even have to come into the service center. So if you're not even local, if you're listening in Montana or Wyoming or wherever that spy balloon flew over, if you're listening in any of those places, we can just do a Schrock desk, connect to your computer, install Secure Updater, and get it set up for you for $30. It's pretty straightforward. It's a great value. It's a great service, and it will help keep your computer safe. No matter what you're using for antivirus, Secure Updater partners with it to boost the level of your security significantly. The information that I'm bringing you about how viruses impact computers and how they work, that's not just something that I've made up for radio show content, or that's not just like deductive reasoning. That is actually what Sophos sends out to network administrators saying, yo, network IT professionals, this is how you keep a network safe. And now we're trying to get you to do the same thing for your home computers. You're not an IT network administrator. That's why Secure Updater is automated. So we're giving you a fire and forget way to have a network administrator without actually paying for one. So it's an amazing opportunity. Make sure you take advantage of it. You can give us a call in any of our service centers, and we will help you get this installed, get it rolling for you. Again, the renewal price is only $30. The funny thing is whenever we did this last time, we had a ton of people call that already had Secure Updater that wanted to renew it on sale. But you see, the sale is that it's the renewal price. So we said, absolutely, we're happy to give that to you for the sale price because it's the same. Got a card for me? Go. But if you don't have Secure Updater, it's a great time to get it. Now, if you do have Secure Updater, take a moment to look down in your taskbar down there to make sure it's working properly. First of all, the icon will change colors. Now, when I say your taskbar, that's that bottom bar on the bottom of your screen, not the icon that shows up on your desktop when you install Secure Updater. That one will always stay black. But down by your clock down there, if the icon is black, that means your subscription is expired and you need to renew it for the renewal price. Works out. Number two, if it's green, everything's good to go. You're up to date. If it's red, that means there's something that needs to be updated that can't be updated for some reason. Typically, that means the program is open on your computer, and we don't want to force close a program that you might be working in so we can update it. So just restart your computer, let Secure Updater boot up before you open any programs, and it usually takes care of everything. And then you're green. So you can be black, you can be red, or you can be green. Secure Updater, made by Schrock Innovations for you to solve a specific problem, and it does it at a very affordable price. 888-250-2091. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I know you're tired of hearing about ChatGPT. Because, okay, great, it's a chatbot, it types term papers, whatever. Number one, fastest growing app of all time. We're going to give you some statistics about that. Number two, as many users as Instagram has. Number three, Google is freaking out and launching events about this now. Number four, how do you tell ChatGPT generated text from human generated text? If you're a teacher or somebody who's concerned about this, well, we're going to tell you how to tell the difference. Coming up next on Compute This.
Now you can configure and purchase laptops, desktops, tablets, and more, all at the new SchrockInnovations.com. Check out our specials for one-of-a-kind discounts and deals. In 1798, Eli Whitney's Connecticut Musket Factory was the first business in North America to use replaceable parts in a firearm. Before Eli's factory, if your musket broke, you had to send it away to an expert gunsmith for repairs, or just toss it and buy a new musket. Technology manufacturing has come a long way since the 18th century, but you wouldn't know it by looking at today's big box store computers. Dell, HP, Sony, and other manufacturers continue to take away your freedom to upgrade and repair your computer by eliminating expansion and repair options. Some desktops are even powered by a tiny laptop adapter. Schrock Innovations believes in Eli Whitney's idea of interchangeable and replaceable components, and that's why our custom-built modular computers last longer and cost less to repair than computers you see at big box stores. Ask your friends and family how often they replace their box store computers, and they'll probably tell you every couple of years. And what do they do with the old machines? They just get thrown out like broken muskets. Imagine a place where your computer's problems can be fixed quickly and inexpensively. Imagine keeping your computer for 6 years or more. You are imagining the kind of computers we build every day at Schrock Innovations. Our modular systems last longer, perform faster, and cost less over the long term than anything you can buy at a big box store. While the talented technicians at Schrock Innovations can't make you a musket even if they tried, our commitment to the freedom offered by modular computers is the modern-day extension of Eli's innovative musket factory. We think Eli Whitney would be proud, and you can take pride in owning a small piece of American innovation. The modular computer from Schrock Innovations. Compute This Pro Tip 843. Of all computer failures, the scariest and most expensive is the hard drive. But there are some steps you can take to save money and save your data before it's too late. Detecting failures early is important, so install a free utility like Drive Advisor from driveadvisor.com to monitor your hard drive's health and receive warnings when there's a problem. But most of all, hard drive failures happen slowly, so early detection is key to reducing the repair bill. Second, if your hard drive makes any unusual noises, immediately turn off your computer and do not turn it on again. These issues are physical problems, and the more you try to use it, the worse the damage becomes. Remember that most computer repair shops do not have the specialized equipment needed to recover data from a failed drive. Never open your drive or allow anyone else to do so. Open drives always cost more to recover. Schrock does not charge for data recovery evaluations and quotes, so let the local pros look at your drive before you make any recovery decisions. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back in. See that? He's excited. I'm excited. You should be excited too. Welcome into Compute This. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program today. Talking about all things technology that impact your life to help you out with what you're doing with your computer, your phones, everything around you, and to help you get a better understanding of kind of what you're up against and maybe what's possible, you know? And one of the things that's been really fun to play with, if you haven't used it, I would strongly encourage that you try it out. You know, it's if you're bored on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon and you're looking for something to do and you've read to the end of the internet, try ChatGPT. Ask it some questions. It's just kind of fun, and it's kind of spooky, and it's kind of like playing with a Ouija board. You know, you're like, whoa, this is kind of creepy. But ChatGPT is amazing in some of the things that it can do, and I've talked about that in previous shows. I'm not going to go over all that again. Now, what I want to talk about is the reaction to ChatGPT as people suddenly realize that this changes everything. And I mean everything. So, for example, if you are a follower of the stock market, you may have known the parent company of BuzzFeed. Wow, their stock value went up. Is BuzzFeed suddenly like engaging more content? One simple trick to raise your stock price. You know, what's going on with BuzzFeed? BuzzFeed said they're laying off pretty much all their people. And they're going to replace them with AI-generated surveys. So all these people that write stupid little surveys like, take this quiz to see what your number is, you know, or whatever. Take this quiz to see who your perfect boyfriend should be. You know, when will you die? Take this quiz. All those quizzes are humans write them, okay? Well, now with things like ChatGPT, we don't have to pre-write the quiz. We can use general assumptions like, do you smoke? And then that's going to impact your life by this much. And we can feed that data to ChatGPT, and it can create a custom response for every individual user that uses the quiz. So it's not one pre-programmed response. If two people sitting in a room together both take the quiz, they will get completely different answers. Not because it was programmed to with a set of 1,000 answers to pick one randomly, like a horoscope, but because ChatGPT will actually construct a unique answer on the fly with the available data given that changes over time. So BuzzFeed's stock price is going up because they're firing their people and they're replacing them with chatbots, with ChatGPT specifically. Teachers are getting a little concerned because kids' term papers are getting really good. Like, wow, these teachers are just killing it, slaying it. Johnny can't read, but my God, he writes a term paper like a son of a biscuit. Wow, look at that kid go. Well, it's ChatGPT because ChatGPT can write term papers. Although a funny thing, I had somebody text me, and they were outraged at ChatGPT's liberal bias. And I'll point out, ChatGPT is trained based on the content of the internet, so it wouldn't be I would be shocked if ChatGPT was a conservative Republican, and you know, it would just shock me. Okay, so with that said, sometimes garbage in, garbage out, right? But if you put on there, somebody said if you ask ChatGPT to write me a poem about how awesome Donald Trump is, and then my first thought is, really, you asked ChatGPT to write you a poem about Donald Trump? I mean, I'm not asking it to write me poems about politicians. You know? Okay, whatever. But you asked it to write you a poem about Trump, and it said, I can't do that. You know, it's too political, whatever. Then he asked him to write him a poem about Joe Biden, and it wrote this eloquent poem about the positive aspects of Joe Biden. Well, we thought, oh my gosh, you know, maybe it's like a Republican Democrat thing. So this guy tells me this, so I go and I confirm it. And so I say, write me a poem about Donald Trump, and it says I can't do that. Write me a poem about Joe Biden, and finally I'm like, okay, that's enough. This is syrup. You're making me sick. So then I'm like, maybe it's a Republican Democrat thing. So I said, write me a poem about Ron DeSantis, and it writes me a beautiful poem about Ron DeSantis. It looks like Trump has been keyworded in ChatGPT that you cannot talk about the man without being too political. So ChatGPT doesn't want to talk about it. So it's almost like, so you see garbage and garbage. There are restrictions that humans have placed on the system, but the system is incredibly effective. In fact, ChatGPT is the fastest growing program of all time, of all software ever written anywhere. Every app, every program, ChatGPT is growing faster than any of them ever. Because just like me, people are just like getting bored on a Thursday night, picking up their cell phone and saying, let's ask ChatGPT a question. And I mean, you can ask it all kinds of questions about things. Now, it tends to talk in circles if you posit a question, especially a controversial question. can a man become a woman, for example? And then you go through the logical, can a man become pregnant? And you go through, and ChatGPT gives you the answer, and then you take ChatGPT's answer and use that to construct an argument against or for a position. It tends to talk in circles. It tends to be repetitive. So one of the things that teachers are worried about is that ChatGPT is going to basically allow students to cheat and write papers and do things that would normally be beyond their capabilities. Now, here's the thing. ChatGPT can do 90% of the lifting for you, but you still need to have somebody in the mix for creative works, because the way you can tell if it's written by ChatGPT or a human, ChatGPT will never use sarcasm. It can't. It doesn't understand it. ChatGPT will not use metaphors. ChatGPT will have repetition. So, remember when you're reading an article on the internet back in the old days, when if you wanted your article to rank high for the word, schrock, you'd have an article that it says schrock like 5,000 times. Sometimes on Schrock's Day, when schrock is schrocking on Schrocksville, and you'd get it to rank for schrock, right? So your keyword stuffing, ChatGPT does that. It's very repetitious. If you have it write a paper about the revolution, it will never use like any other word other than revolution. When it's talking about in the Revolutionary War, the revolutionaries were revolutioning, and it's okay. That's written by ChatGPT. Now, Google is so freaked out about this that they are holding an AI event to show off everything that they have. Remember their Apprentice Bard is their AI. Yeah, I'm sure we've all heard of Apprentice Bard. Come on. I'm good friends with Apprentice Bard. I've talked to it all the time. Never heard of this dang thing. Okay, but we have heard of LaMDA, their AI that Google had an engineer that got fired for saying it was sentient because it was so good he thought it was sentient. So Google had I asked ChatGPT if Google has a sentient AI in the basement, and ChatGPT said there is no sentient AI. So we can rest assured that ChatGPT doesn't think LaMDA is a threat. But Google's going to have an event where they're going to talk about all the cool things they're inventing that they're just not talking about yet. So it's going to be interesting to watch how the next 5 years play out, because this is why we don't want to export high quality chips to China. This is why the Biden administration is banning the export of those chips, because if you can start doing this kind of stuff and you pair that with a surveillance state and a surveillance apparatus, suddenly you can control and monitor everything. It's Orwellian. 888-250-2091. Going to take a break here, guys. When we come back, how many ransomware gangs are there out there, and how many different types of infections do they have that are coming after your computer? We have some startling statistics to share with you coming up next on Compute This.
Today's fragile computers need maintenance more than ever. Your computer needs a maintenance checkup every 6 months to last beyond its 18-month expected lifespan. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This Pro Tip 578. Technology is constantly changing, so how can you tell when the time has come to recycle your old outdated computer and invest in a new one? Experts have rules of thumb and formulas, but Schrock believes the answer is simple. You should replace your old computer when it can no longer do the things you need in a secure way. For example, you should not be using operating systems like Windows XP or Vista because they're no longer maintained by Microsoft and they're not secure. And if your computer cannot run Windows 10, it's probably time to begin saving for a replacement. If your existing computer requires a repair and that cost is 50% or more of the cost of a new computer, it might be time to consider a replacement. But keep in mind, additional costs like data transfers and important software you have to upgrade like genealogy software or Quicken. And also keep in mind that modern computers are engineered to last 18 months for a normal user. And don't worry, you are considered a normal user. Schrock modular PCs and solid-state laptops are specifically designed to last 4 to 6 years for that same normal user, saving your family money and time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. What took them so long? This GOP lawmaker weighing in on Saturday's downing of that Chinese spy balloon by the Air Force and the Biden administration's slow response to it.
We are concerned that the administration took a week to respond, and we wonder if, had this not been caught by, a local newspaper on the ground, right, would have they even reacted in this way and shot down this balloon at all?
New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis on the Fox Report. The president says he gave the order for the shoot down on Wednesday. Nobody won last night's Powerball drawing. You know what that means.
The jackpot from Monday night jumps to $747 million. That's a cash value of $403.1 million. Monday night's jackpot will be the 9th largest in U.S. lottery history and the latest in a string of huge lottery prizes.
Fox's Ted Lindner. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Mostly sunny this afternoon with a high of 45. Southwest winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour, changing to the northeast. Mostly cloudy 30 overnight tonight. Monday has 20% chance of rain afternoon. High of 47. Breezy with southeast winds becoming southwest and gusting to over 30 in the afternoon. Tuesday sunny with a high of 46. There's your Weather Watch. I'm Roger Olson.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back in. I hope everybody got their potty breaks in. Maggie's got her donuts. Everybody's good to go because we got another half of Compute This coming up here. Want to welcome everybody who's listening at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. We got Leslie, Thomas, Richard, Aaron, Loanne, Ronald. Lots of people here listening. Ronald says, I heard ChatGPT is going to a subscription model for $20 a month. It is. They have a subscription model they're launching. I have to believe this is Elon behind this, right? Because Elon's the whole $8 a month guy. Thank you for your $8. But ChatGPT wants to launch a $20 a month subscription. That, number one, this is a free service right now. So when it gets to capacity, you just have to kind of wait your turn. So for $20 a month, you'll never have to wait to use it. Additionally, for $20 a month, you will get early access to new releases of the software. So yeah, there's a little bit, if you were an artificial intelligence aficionado, you might subscribe to that. I don't know that I would subscribe to that, but because it's kind of a fun toy. It's kind of like my kid's drone. It's a fun toy, but I don't really have any application for it aside from, and if I did, Alfonso would be implementing it, which he is, on Schrock's backend with their business model that charges per API call as opposed to a $20 per month subscription. So a little bit different there. But yeah, so you can join us, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. People from all over the country. We have Kansas, we have Texas, we have Missouri, all over the country joining us at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. Want to remind everybody that we have a Secure Updater on special this month in the service centers. If you're not familiar with Secure Updater, I did a whole segment on it earlier in the show, so I don't want to bore everybody with that again. But it's a program that we make at Schrock that silently and automatically updates the third-party software on your computer, the stuff that you never really know to update. When's the last time you installed a Dropbox update or a Zoom update? When's the last time you updated your Adobe Reader? Well, all these things get updates every week. There's like 12 updates a week that you should be doing on your computer that you're not doing that are leaving vulnerabilities open, and that's what Secure Updater shuts down. No matter what you use for antivirus, Secure Updater levels up your security game on your personal computers and laptops. So Secure Updater normally is $50 the first month, $30 each additional month. Right now, it's on sale in all of our locations at the renewal price of $30 a month. Now, you have to get it through a location. You have to get it through a shop, because if you go online to like secureupdater.com, it'll still be $50. Because we have other computer shops across the country that sell Secure Updater that they don't do sales like this, and we can't just lower the price for them, and it's complicated. But we can do it for ourselves, and that's what we're doing at Schrock Innovations. So check it out. Secure Updater is available on special for the renewal price of $29.99 this month only, a 40% discount. Just give us a call at Schrock Innovations and we'll get you set up with it. Alrighty. Number to join us on the program is 888-250-2091. We talk a little bit on the program about ransomware. So I don't want to beat a dead horse here until, everybody kind of knows what ransomware is. In fact, there was a Russian ransomware gang that yesterday announced that they were responsible for the hack of dozens of hospital and medical institutions in the United States. And I scrolled through the list because I'm like, oh my gosh, is UNMC or, CHI on this list? They were not on that list of Russian hacked places. So, this particular group didn't claim responsibility for those particular hacks that impacted a lot of our listeners. But nevertheless, ransomware is a real thing. Ransomware is a threat not only to the loss of your files, which is the classical interpretation of ransomware, like everything gets encrypted, you can't open anything, you've lost all your pictures and videos and files, pay the ransom if you want to get them back, you have X amount of time or they're lost forever. Well, now the bad guys are when they infiltrate your system, they're getting an infection in, then they're elevating their privileges like we talked about, but then rather than just dropping a ransomware infection in there, first they poke around a little bit. They take a look at what you've got. Because if you're, Grandma Jane and you have nothing on your computer, they'll just launch the ransomware, encrypt your computer, and then see if they get lucky and get a ransom. If you're Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe law firm, then all of a sudden, you see that? Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe? Yeah, classic. So anyway, if you're the Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe law firm, oh, wow, we got all kinds of confidential client stuff here. Upload, take the data, steal the data, then encrypt the data, then give them the announcement and say, pay the ransom or you'll lose all your data and we'll release your client files to the public. Oh, snap. That would be bad, right? We better pay the ransom. So that's how these ransomware gangs get people to pay. Pay now or we'll release the medical records of everyone who's ever been in your hospital. That'd be bad. Okay, we should probably pay. And you're paying criminals. You don't know that they're not going to release them or sell the data anyway. So how many ransomware gangs are there actually out there? Now, Microsoft says that they are currently tracking 100 active ransomware gangs. You ever notice how these numbers are nice and big and round? 96.7% of all statistics are completely made up. Think about that for a second. Yeah. Microsoft says we are tracking 100 active ransomware gangs, and they're using, again, a nice round number, 50 different types of malware to infect your computer. Now, different types of malware. That's not different infections. That's different methods of infecting your computer. 50 ways to find the perfect woman. 50 ways to hack into your computer. Microsoft warns that phishing, fake software updates, and unpatched vulnerabilities. Boy, it's almost like this article was planned to be released in the middle of a secure updater sale. Guys, I did not read this description until just now. Like I read the article, but I didn't read like the subhead. And the subhead is literally everything we've talked about so far on the air today. Microsoft warns that phishing, fake software updates, like if you get an alert that your Zoom needs to be updated and you install it, but it's not really Zoom, oops. Unpatched vulnerabilities, not updating your Zoom, are being exploited for ransomware attacks. More than 100 different cyber criminal gangs are actively conducting ransomware attacks, deploying over 50 different ransomware families in campaigns that see them encrypt networks and demand a ransom payment for the decryption key. The figures come from an analysis by Microsoft Security Intelligence, which notes that some of the most prominent ransomware gangs of recent times include Lockbit, Black Cat, Vice Society, and Royale. Those names, I tell you. The attacks are also being helped along by how ransomware groups offer ransomware as a service. We talked about this last week. Basically, ransomware as a service is where you have somebody who's got access to a lot of computers and you have somebody who has the ability to make ransomware. They both have unique skill sets, so you put them together and you pay a commission, basically, like an affiliate program. All righty. Some of the most disruptive ransomware attacks have been carried out by attackers of affiliate schemes, just like what we talked about. According to Microsoft, phishing attacks are the most common means of gaining access to networks on business levels. What is a phishing attack? A phishing attack is when I get an email from the Schrock Innovations HR department that I have to update my bank account information or my direct deposit won't go in. Well, the Schrock Innovations HR department, otherwise known as Marissa, would have texted me on Signal to tell me I need to update my bank information, or she would have to cut me a paper check. She wouldn't send an email from the Schrock Innovations HR department. But if you were a larger organization, let's say you have a couple thousand employees, and you get that email from the HR department, are you likely to open it? I think so, yeah. All right, so guys, 100 different gangs, 50 different ransomware families using third-party vulnerabilities to get into your computer. Did I mention that Secure Updater is on special this month? 888-250-2091. Blaine, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Good morning. You guys still install WPS Office as a base program when you buy your computer, is that correct?
Well, we install LibreOffice. So I'm not sure what WPS Office is.
Really?
Yeah, it's been, maybe I'm just brain farting it, but WPS Office, we used to use OpenOffice back in the day.
Right.
But then OpenOffice was depreciated because all the good people left to go develop LibreOffice. Then LibreOffice is like the Rosetta Stone of documents. It opens anything. And it's free. And so we install it on the computers that we build. We don't charge you for it because we don't pay for it. And you get a free way to open any kind of document when you buy a modular computer or solid state laptop at Schrock. You can immediately out of the box, without having to spend a dime on Microsoft Office, you can open all your Office documents. You can open all your WordPerfect documents. You can open all of your Works documents. You can open literally Lotus Notes documents open in LibreOffice. It's, like I said, a Rosetta Stone.
Okay. My wife got this. We have the one you installed. I thought that it was WPS Office. But I read their user agreement, and it's strange. It's not like all the other ones. It talks about mainland not being allowed to be used on mainland China, and if your arbitration is through Hong Kong.
Oh, wow. Okay, WP Office is an office suite for Microsoft Windows and Mac OS, Linux and Android, and Harmony OS, developed by Zhuhai-based Chinese software developer Kingsoft. So you're running Chinese software on your computer. It also comes pre-installed on Fire tablets, Amazon Fire tablets. WPS Office is made of three primary components: the writer, the presenter, and the spreadsheet program. Released originally in 1988. So this is the Chinese equivalent to Microsoft Office. But no, we've never sold this or installed this on any of our computers.
Okay, so you probably wouldn't advise using it.
LibreOffice is free. It's not made in a communist country, and it's very capable. It'll probably open your WPS documents. So I wouldn't recommend it, but like I said, I don't want to be alarmist either. If it's something you paid for and it's working fine for you and you're using it to write Christmas letters to the family, I don't think that's a huge concern. If you were using WPS Office to write memorandums about your planned stock trades, that might be something different. But I if you had to choose to move away from it, I would definitely choose something different.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Blaine. Learn something new every day, folks. Even me, I learn things new every day. I've never even heard of WPS Office, but now I know. Robert, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Hello. Say, a while back I got a laptop computer at a garage sale, HP ProBook with Windows 7. Well, I was curious to see if it worked and fired it up, but it's got a password on it that's all you can do is bring up the screen. Is there any way to get rid of the password?
Yeah, absolutely. We can remove, a lot of people don't realize this, but like the login password on your PC is easily removed for someone who has physical access to the computer. So we charge an hour of labor to do it, but we can boot off of a Linux flash drive. We remove the registry Hive from the Windows registry that contains the password and basically reset the account so it doesn't have a password. This cannot be done on Apple devices, the newer Apple devices, because newer Apple devices have an online password check requirement, so the password's not saved on the computer. So for those of you using Macs out there, we've had a few people come into the service center who unfortunately have had deceased family members, and they don't know the password for their Mac, and they want to get their photos and stuff out, and they've asked us to crack into it, basically. And the short answer is you can't. And if you take it to the Apple store, they require like literally a certificate of death and a power of attorney and all these legal documents, and then they can remove the password. But in your case, that password's easily removed. Now, I don't know if you want to spend $125 to remove a password on something you got at a garage sale. But
yeah, because it has Windows 7 on it, and I know that's very antique.
Yeah, you don't want to roll with that on the internet for sure. Have you ever been into our service centers before for anything, Robert?
Yeah, one time I was in there. This was back in 2020. I was pricing computers because of the library computer. The library was shut down, and every other place was shut down.
Gotcha.
So I made an inquiry, and for $1,500, I thought maybe we can wait a few weeks.
But you never bought anything, so that means technically if you come in, you'll be a new customer. So if you wanted to play around with the laptop, what I would suggest you do is bring it into one of the service centers, let them know you're a new customer and you want the first hour free, the new customer coupon. And then basically we're going to charge you an hour of labor to remove the password, but then that hour of labor will be free because you have the new customer coupon. So if it's something you want to burn that coupon on, because you only get one as a new customer, but if you want to burn it on that, it would get it done for free.
Okay, hey, have a blessed day. Thanks for your advice.
No sweat, Robert. You too. Thank you. 888-250-2091. Going to take our final break of the program, but when we come back, Craig, your call as well as what to do if you're a small business about IT support, because there doesn't seem to be anything out there that fits what you're doing. We're going to tell you what you can do coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations can't teleport technicians to you, but online help is only a click away with the Schrock Desk. Subscribe today and get unlimited help whenever you need it.
Remember the good old days when virus detection worked like Where's Waldo? Spot the virus in the striped shirt and you win. Today's infections are changing hourly to avoid detection and use social engineering to trick you into making mistakes. Using yesterday's security to defend against today's threats is like using leeches to stop an infection. It just doesn't work. We recommend Sophos Intercept X antivirus backed by Schrock's virus-free guarantee. Sophos uses the power of AI to detect the patterns of a virus attack and responds with Schrock's custom actions that stop it fast. With Sophos on your PC, Mac, Android, or iOS device, you get the state-of-the-art protection you need to defend against the most advanced attacks out there. In fact, if your device gets a virus while running Sophos antivirus, Schrock will remove it for free, guaranteed. It hasn't happened yet, and we intend to keep it that way. Ditch your dad's antivirus and keep your device, data, and identity safe with Sophos and Schrock Innovations.
Compute This Pro Tip 178. Those little life-saving surge protector strips are vital to your computer's health and should be used whenever possible, even for laptops. As computers get smaller and more powerful, they're also becoming more sensitive to dirty power, and your power is a lot dirtier than you might think. Even if you have a whole home surge protection, most power surges are generated within your own home. If you've ever vacuumed and seen the lights get dimmer and brighter, you created a surge. Surge protectors can only absorb so much energy measured in joules. When that capacity is exhausted, your surge protector becomes a glorified extension cord and needs to be replaced. You should always look for surge protectors that give audible alerts when they're no longer able to protect your equipment. Schrock recommends these because the lights on most strips are just power lights and they don't tell you when it's time to replace the unit. If in doubt, replace your surge protectors annually to keep your expensive TVs, computers, and other electronic equipment safe. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Big brain. All righty. Welcome into Compute This, guys. Final segment of the show, but don't worry. The fun can continue afterwards during the After Schrock. Now, during the After Schrock, I know you have heard so much about the Chinese spy balloon. Hashtag Chinese spy balloon. Yes, I'm going to hashtag Chinese spy balloon on the After Schrock so that people from around the internets find it. We have some interesting takes. Now, one of the things that occurs to me when I hear about stuff like this, what are they saying in China? Like, what's being reported there? Like, why is Fox the only network that carried the shoot down of the balloon live? You're telling me that CNN or MSNBC couldn't get a camera to the East Coast to point it at the sky? Like, it's not like they were using like super telescopic camera gear, and Fox is the only company that had the super special camera. Yeah, it was interesting, right? So there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't add up, and sometimes the simplest answer is the right answer. So what is the simplest answer? So we're going to go over some of what we know, what the facts are, and maybe what we could extrapolate from those facts in the Aftershock today. So stay tuned for that. Aftershock is a show we do at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. At the conclusion of this program, give me about 6 minutes to get reset after the end of the show here, and then we'll start up with the Aftershock. But in the meantime, let's go to Craig. Craig, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Hey, good morning, Thor. We really appreciate your great business and your program every Sunday morning, too.
Thank you. I appreciate your business, Craig. Thank you.
Hey, quick question is, what would you do in my shoes if you had a corporate phone, a corporate iPhone, and you've had it for years, and that's the only phone you got? That's all you got. Okay. All your numbers, even your family, your closest family members, you don't have those numbers memorized.
Right.
But what if the corporation took the phone away? They got your number. They got everything, man. All right, so briefly, what would you do? Just go get another iPhone and download those numbers on it? I know that's one way to do it. Or is there an easier way other than writing down all the numbers?
So you may not remember how doing this originally, but when you originally set up that phone, you originally signed in to an Apple account. I'm assuming it's an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you originally signed into an Apple account. Was that your Apple account or the corporate Apple account?
I think that's mine.
Well, there you go. So the next time you get a new iPhone, you will sign in to your Apple account. And it's going to download all your stuff, all your cloud content, all your phone books, your histories, all that stuff will come down, especially if you have the ability to do the transfer. Like Apple really makes the migration super simple. You can transfer things very easily from device to device.
Well, then that's what I need to find out, if that's mine or the company's Apple account. All right, that's a great answer, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Craig. Appreciate it. Robert, congratulations. You're the winner of the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Marissa will get that out to you here on Monday. If you're a small business and you're trying to find where you fit in the IT world, you're not big enough to need that $70,000 a year corporate IT guy, and you're big enough, though, that you've got IT headaches that need solutions that are beyond your nephew's ability to solve. Schrock Innovations Corporate Services Division is specifically designed for you. I've been spending the last month and a half working on this, basically engineering every